Norwegian side, but we also have a look to what is on the Russian side.
Norwegian biologists take me on a boat trip along the Pasvik River. Our route goes right along the border between Arctic Norway and Russia. The river divides the vast forest of the Pasvik Nature Reserve, home to many magnificent wild creatures.
So now it's about 4 meters. That's the invisible border.
Researchers are here to count the number of bird species. But now they face one problem in this border area. Since Russia's invasion of Ukraine, all scientific cooperation between Norway and Russia has stopped. But Paul still waves to his colleagues on the Russian side. How big problem is it that you can't cooperate with the Russian scientists anymore?
We don't get the good information, we don't get the updated information about what is happening. So we are working and hoping that we can understand better the things with the climate change and the future of the different species.
The birds don't really care about what we decided where the border is going. There's a strandsnipe. So some of them are breeding on on the Norwegian side of the river, but having most of their life on the Russian side. So if the Russians are changing something there, destroying their feeding grounds or mating areas, that impacts also the population here. So therefore the communication is really important for the preservation of many of the species.
We pass by islands with the Norwegian border pole and red and green Russian ones on the other shore.
Look there, Beck. That's on the top of the Russian hill there, above, just on the horizon. You see it?
White-tailed eagle.
White-tailed eagle, yes. Good. That's the first we've seen today. But it's on the Russian side, so we have to note it that it's a Russian spot.
Meanwhile, in the dense forest of the Pasvik Valley, another group of Norwegian scientists are on a mission to register newly hatched chicks.
Hvor gammel den?
First, feathers are sampled.
Or we can also look at heavy metals. Many people are interested in, for example, nickel factory. The heavy metals from nickel factory is still influencing the nature around.
He's referring to the Russian nickel metal smelter. It's still visible here from the Norwegian side. The smelter had been polluting the Pasvik's flora and fauna for decades before it was shut down in 2020. The chicks are weighed and gently put back into their nests. In the border area, the ringing is important.
The ringing is giving a lot of information about where they move and about age.
Do you sometimes see birds that were ringed on the Russian side?
Yes, of course. All nations have a central ringing unit, like Russia is having in Moscow. If I catch a bird, like in this box, that was ringed in Russia, then I report to Moscow, to the Russian ringing central. And the same, if they find a Norwegian bird, they will report to our central unit in Stavanger. So this is a global thing. And all these exchange data. So that is something that moves. It doesn't matter if it's war or not. It still works.
Across the Pasvik River, we are approaching the remains of a bridge destroyed by the Germans during the World War II. When the Soviet forces advanced in October 1944, Hitler's retreating army destroyed everything behind them. Now, the ugly wreckage of the war has become a breeding ground for new life. Several birdhouses have been installed and researchers check on them.
Now I'm taking pictures from the inside the box.
For hundreds of years, this border area has been tremendously affected by geopolitics. Despite the dividing borders, solutions are urgently needed on both sides on how to tackle climate change and pollution.